The whole music world was shocked when Andre Rieu, the king of waltzes, collapsed right in the middle of a show at age 75. Everything felt different after that. But to get why it happened at the peak of his success, you have to hear about his whole life. Andre Rieu was born on October 1st, 1949. He grew up in a super strict family where the kids came second to discipline. He was the third of 6 children, and his dad, who was also named Andre and a famous conductor, was feared at home just as much as he was respected on stage. There was no laughing, no sweet lullabies, nothing warm. Love felt cold and distant. Andre later said quietly, "My parents didn't love me." It wasn't said with anger, just as a plain fact. His mom was all about good grades and skills. She thought being imaginative was a bad thing. If a teacher said something nice about his artistic side, she'd yell at him about it. Creativity was seen as weakness. But when he turned 5, things shifted for him. An 18-year-old girl who played violin gently took him under her wing. She didn't scold him, she encouraged him to really feel the music. For the first time, through her playing, young Andre discovered a sense of freedom. It wasn't romance or even love, just something that felt alive. He was totally amazed by it. That spark pulled him deep into music. While other kids drilled scales, he chased that beautiful resonant sound. But his growing love for waltzes clashed hard with his dad's strict ways. His father hated it and once yelled, "I didn't raise you to play waltzes." Those words cut deep, like an attack on who Andre really was. The breaking point came around 1968 when he met Marjorie, the woman he wanted to be with. His mom was furious and basically told her to leave. That same night, Andre walked out of the house for good. He never went back. Even as he became a huge star, his parents never once came to any of his concerts. No matter how many fans packed the arenas cheering for him, that empty silence from home always stayed with him. He once admitted he spent years in therapy trying to figure out why his childhood felt so empty. The loud applause never quite filled that hole inside. But when he played music, especially the violin, he finally felt seen. The violin became his lifeline. It opened up windows to a better feeling. In 1978, after putting up with stiff, formal orchestra work for years, Andre decided to break free. He started the Mastery Salon Orchestra with just 12 other dreamers. They played in small community halls, backyard weddings, and tiny towns. No fancy costumes, no big critics, just pure music for the joy of it. Behind all that magic was Marjorie. She quietly handled the business side, bookings, meetings, even ghostwriting arrangements. She was the steady, unseen force keeping everything running. When he worried about buying an old, crumbling castle, she simply said, "Sell more records." She was always thinking ahead for their future. This quiet change started spreading. In 1987, he officially founded the Johann Strauss Orchestra. It was still small at first, 12 musicians, but they had a bold goal: bring back the heart and joy in music. They ditched the serious black tailcoats and wore colorful clothes instead. Their first big New Year's Day show in 1988 was full of lights, dancing melodies, and happy energy. Critics made fun of them, but the audiences loved it and kept coming back. People weren't just watching a concert, they felt like they were reclaiming music for themselves. By 1995, something amazing happened at the UEFA Champions League final in Vienna. Andre and his orchestra played Shostakovich's Waltz No. 2 on the pitch. Football fans stopped, started swaying, and clapped along. The whole stadium lit up with grace, and the usual tension of the game melted away. When Ajax scored, the timing felt perfect. That moment turned into a legend. Suddenly, their music shot to number 1 in the Netherlands for 19 weeks. Something crazy for classical music. It sold millions around the world. In Australia, over 38,000 people filled a stadium in Melbourne to see them, and they had 8 of the top 10 best-selling DVDs in the country. Andre was standing right up there with pop stars like Pink and AC/DC. Of course, not everyone liked it. Traditional classical fans and some conductors hated the fun lights, colorful gowns, and joyful vibe. One even called it musical pornography and said joy had no place in real art. But for Andre's fans, families, grandparents, regular people, it meant the world. He once said, "With us, you don't feel that solemn hush that pushes people away. He wasn't just selling tickets, he was giving people hope and emotion on stage. But even with all the sold-out shows and bright lights, Andre was struggling inside. In 2010, at the height of his fame, he got hit with a bad viral infection that attacked his inner ear. For a violinist and conductor, balance is everything, so his world literally started spinning. Tours got canceled, shows were called off. The guy who always said, "I can do it," now had to say, "I can't." He was stuck in bed, dizzy, watching the room spin non-stop. Doctors told him to rest, and his super strict schedule fell apart. Regular treatments didn't help much. Then an Australian fan wrote him a letter sharing his own experience with the same problem and suggested some vestibular exercises. Andre tried them desperately, and slowly the spinning stopped. After months, he got back on his feet and returned to the stage. It wasn't just a musical comeback. It felt like he got his life back. He got his life back. Everyone thought he was fully recovered and back to normal, but no injury, physical or emotional, ever heals without leaving some mark. The vertigo went away, but his balance stayed a bit fragile. In 2012, his team admitted the ear was still a weak spot and warned that if the illness came back, especially during a performance, it could be really dangerous. Then in 2016, during a December tour in Leeds, another blow hit. His close friend Roer Merckx, a trombonist who'd been like a brother to him, died suddenly in his sleep. Andre was devastated. He immediately canceled the Nottingham show and stopped the rest of the tour in London, Birmingham, and Glasgow. The whole orchestra mourned together like a family. Even when they started performing again, the music carried that sadness with it. Still, Andre pushed through. In 2019, he fought through a nasty flu with fever and chills just to get on stage. He kept smiling, but close friends could see he was struggling. The real breaking point came in March 2024 in Mexico City. They had 6 sold-out concerts planned. After only the second show, things turned bad fast. The high altitude, jet lag, and lingering flu hit him hard. Backstage, he was feverish, out of breath, and confused. He quietly called Marjorie and said he never wanted another opening night like that. 4 of the concerts had to be cut short. Over 40,000 ticket holders were upset, and the entire 125-person orchestra was sent home early. Flights were changed, tickets refunded. It was total chaos, and they lost some of their usual dignity in the mess. After that, his son Pierre stepped up big time. He wasn't just helping with tours anymore, he became his dad's protector. They stopped the crazy long intercontinental trips and slowed everything down. Now it was mostly Europe shows with better scheduling, more sleep, and real recovery time. It wasn't giving up, it was the smart move. Pierre started carefully checking every flight and venue. Could his dad handle it without breaking? That collapse and the changes that followed didn't mean the end of the maestro. It actually created a new version of him, one who realized every note has to come from care, not just pushing through pain. It made him more human, and in a way, even more special to people. By summer 2024, you could see the shift, but not every scar had healed. Andre had spent decades living on the road, so slowing down brought its own quiet struggles. The constant movement used to be what kept him going. Now, with Pierre setting limits, every show came with new pressure, to prove he could still deliver, not just for the fans, but for himself. He returned to play in his hometown of Merrick that July. It sold out right away, like always. But backstage, things were different now. There were medical checks, oxygen ready, and built-in rest times during rehearsals. The team that used to worry about lights and sound now worked with doctors and therapists too. The audience never saw the checklist in his dressing room with rules like hydrate before going on, keep encores short, and no handshakes until his heart rate calms down. Pierre enforced all of it seriously. Even with those safety rules, old habits sometimes tried to sneak back. On the third night in Merrick, he got lost in a waltz and let it run longer than planned. The orchestra followed. The crowd stood and cheered. It felt like old times. But when he left the stage, his shirt was soaked with sweat, just like in Mexico City. Pierre's face said it all. They had almost crossed the line again. The changes went into the music, too. Andre started rearranging pieces to make them a bit less intense. He played fewer high-energy numbers and added more ballads and slower waltzes. Fans loved the new feel without realizing. It was also a way to save his energy while still giving them a great show. A great show.